First time I started thinking about doing a sculpture which involves stalactites and stalagmites was probably nearly 30 years ago now. I decided I would like to make a sculpture which was made up of a chopped up kitchen unit which was reassembled into a stalactite and a stalagmite, and because of that I was going to call it stalagmite melamite, because the kitchen unit would have been made of melamite. At the beginning of lockdown I started doing a whole series of sculptures which were to do with COVID-19, and because of that I had been intending to make 19 sculptures, and each one would use pages from the Guardian newspaper reassembled into collages mainly. That's when the idea came about for the stalactite and stalagmite. I suppose one of the things I've been thinking about that seemed appropriate to do with stalagmites and stalactites was that they're built up over many, many years, centuries I suppose, of dripping water, which leaves a residue on the edges of the stalagmite and stalactite, which then builds up and the things get bigger and longer. It kind of reminded me of the way that we've been told that COVID-19 transfers itself to us off surfaces. The idea that you can catch it by touching a doorknob means that there's something actually on that doorknob that you can't see, which is a bit like a stalactite drops onto a stalagmite, and you don't really see it, but in 100 years' time it's a few feet bigger. But so it is a bit like a virus. It just leaves a memory of itself, doesn't it? Which, for a virus, I suppose the memory is what's left inside other people, or inside everyone. In fact, it's a bit like a stalactite or a stalagmite in many ways, in that it is probably living on that surface and leaving traces of itself at all times. So kind of like an invisible extra surface.
toys. They steal other people's bright, shiny tricks of narrative and presentation whenever